Hi everybody, welcome again to Campbell's Maths Corner. We are going to be continuing looking at solving equations. In the last video we looked at solving one-step equations. If you missed that video, by the way, you can check the link in the description for that, and you can always watch that anytime you want. So today we are going to be looking at solving two-step equations by using the inverse operation, and I'll explain what I mean by that shortly. So, how do we solve two-step equations? Well, as I said earlier, we're going to be using the inverse operation to isolate the variable. Again, when we solve equations, the aim is to find the value of the unknown, which in this case we call the variable. Now we are going to be doing this by using what we call the opposite of order of operations. So the normal order of operations that we'll use to simplify expressions would be, so we normally do the parentheses first, or the brackets, followed by any exponents or multiplication or division, followed by addition or subtraction. When we're solving equations, we take those in the reverse. So we look at the subtraction or addition first, then the multiplication or division, followed by exponents and parentheses. So what we're going to be doing is undo addition or subtractions first, followed by multiplication or division. Let's see how it works. Alright, so here we have 2x minus 4 equals 8. So since we want to get x by itself, but we realize that x is being multiplied by 2 and then 4 is being subtracted from that. So we have to first undo addition or subtraction. In this case we're subtracting 4, so we have to do the opposite of subtracting 4, which is to add 4. So if we add 4 to the left, we have to maintain a balance, so we have to add 4 to the right as well. Adding 4 to both sides now will leave us with 2x equals 8 plus 4, and that's 12. And now there's one last step. So since we're multiplying x by 2, we have to divide by 2, and dividing one side by 2 means that we have to divide both sides by 2. So x is going to be equal to 12 divided by 2, that's 6. And again, remember, you can check your answers by simply substituting the value of x into the equation. So if x is 6, 2 times 6, that's 12. 12 minus 4 equals 8. So it means then our equation is true. It's correct. Solution is correct. Let's look at the next example. Alright, this time we have 5x plus 10 equals 80. So first, since we're adding 10, we have to undo adding 10, which is to subtract 10. So subtracting 10 from both sides will now give us 5x equals 80 minus 10, that's equal to 70. And then since we're multiplying by 5, we'll undo multiplying by 5 by the opposite, dividing by 5. Dividing by 5 means that we divide both sides by 5, and that means x is going to be equal to 70 divided by 5, which is 14. And again, you can check your answers by simply substitution. Alright, here's another example. This time we're working with some negatives. So we have negative 3x minus 4 equals negative 82. Now, since we are subtracting 4, we have to undo that subtracting 4 by adding 4. Adding 4 to one side means that we have to add 4 to both sides, leaving us with negative 3x equals negative 78. Right. Now, since we're multiplying x by a negative 3, we have to do the opposite of multiplying by a negative 3, which is to divide by a negative 3. If we divide one side by a negative 3, we have to divide both sides by negative 3, and then that will leave us with x. And since, well, we should know that dividing a negative by a negative will give us a positive value, so 78 divided by 3 is 26. And you can use your calculators to actually carry out the calculations. I have no problem with my students using calculators. As a matter of fact, I always encourage them to use their calculators. Alright, let's look at the fourth example. So here we have x being divided by 5, and that's being added to 2 equals 8. Now, since we're adding 2, again, undo the addition or subtraction, so I have to undo plus 2 by subtracting 2. Subtracting 2 from one side means that we have to subtract 2 from both sides. Then that will leave us with x being divided by 5 equals 8 minus 2, that's 6. This time, notice now x is being divided by 5. So the opposite of dividing by 5 must be to multiply by 5. Multiply both sides by 5. So x is going to be equal to 6 times 5 equals 30. And again, you can substitute the value of x into the equation to see if the answer is actually correct. So if x is 30, 30 divided by 5, that's 6, and 6 plus 2 equals 8. So it's not that bad. And as we say, 2 steps, it means that we're basically doing 2 steps, because as you see, the first thing we did was subtract, we undo the positive 2, and then we undo the division by multiplying. So hence 2 steps. Alright, so as usual, here are a few questions. You can try these. Feel free to pause the video and try these. Alright, so if you actually try these questions, let's see if you got them correct. So the first one, 3c minus 14 equals 10. So we have to undo that minus 14 by adding 14. Adding 14 to both sides, that will give us 3c equals 24. And then to get c by itself, we have to divide both sides by 3. So c is going to be equal to 24 divided by 3, that's 8. Next, negative 3x plus 8 equals negative 7. Undo that plus 8 by subtracting 8 from both sides, leaving us with negative 3x equals negative 15. And then we divide both sides by negative 3. So x is going to be equal to positive 5. Now the last one, 12 minus 2x equals negative 10. Now, even though the constant comes before the coefficient with the variable, the procedure is the same. So we need to undo that 12, which is a positive 12, by subtracting 12. Subtracting 12 from both sides means then we'll end up with a negative 2x equals negative 22. Since we're multiplying x by a negative 2, we do the opposite of that, which is to divide by a negative 2. Dividing one side by negative 2 means that we divide both sides by negative 2. And of course, dividing a negative by a negative will give us a positive value of 11. And again, you can always check by substituting. So if x is 11, then 12 minus 2 times 11, that's negative, that's negative 2. 12 minus negative 22, right, equals negative 10. So so it means then both sides are equal to negative 10. So the answer is correct. So as usual, I hope this video was beneficial. If there is any comments, any topics that you would want me to look at, feel free to leave that in the comment section. And again, please feel free to share, like, and if you haven't subscribed as yet, then click that subscription button. Until next time, just look out for part 3 coming out on solving equations, where we are going to be looking at solving multi-step equation. So look out for that one. Until next time, see you and take care.